Ciao tutti! So today we're gonna make pasta Palermitana. Now, a couple of years ago I went to Sicily and I visited Palermo, which is a area within Sicily. And I traveled around Sicily. I'm Sicilian. My grandma's family is from an area called Catania. And through my travels, one thing was consistent in Sicily. They love raisins and pine nuts in pasta. And thankfully, I do too. It's delicious. And I know you might be thinking, raisins, pine nuts in pasta? It's a little different, but I'm telling you, try it. So in Sicily, when they added it, they typically added maybe sardines, breadcrumbs, but today I'm gonna do it a little bit different. I'm gonna do my version with a secret ingredient, and it is Broccoli Rabe. Now, this is the Broccoli Rabe we started from seed back in April, and I harvested it in my garden just yesterday.
As the granddaughter of a gardener, I learned to appreciate fresh food from a young age. Now with my own garden in the city, it's time to plant. As a registered dietitian, I'm inspired by the food I'm able to grow. I'll share my tips on how to be a nutritional cook and make homegrown the star of my recipes. Learning from educational resources, friends, and some wise seasoned veterans, I seek to uncover the secrets of gardening.
This is my first time growing broccoli rabe in my garden, and we started this from seed back in April, and it looks amazing. So I've already harvested all of this, and one thing they say to do is to cut the crown before it flowers. Now, I was a little bit late doing that, so some of mine flowered and it looks like this. So you don't want to let it get to this point. So they say when it's like this green color like this, let's see, let me zoom in. Whoa. See the crown? The little floret that looks like broccoli? We're gonna cut the crown off now before it flowers. So let's see. So it looks like this. And my hope is that when I cut this back, it's gonna just keep growing back. And I can't wait to show you the delicious pasta we're about to make. First thing we're gonna do is cook the broccoli rabe, because this process is probably gonna take the longest out of the whole recipe. Because broccoli rabe has these thick stems. So what you need to do to cook it right is to boil it first in a pot of water, soften up the stems, and then we'll saute it in garlic and oil. Now, I rarely order broccoli rabe out at a restaurant because nobody knows how to cook it right. People don't take the time to boil it first and then saute it. So typically when you order at a restaurant, if you've had it before, you might think you don't like it because they don't cook it right. But actually, if you cook it right and the stems are soft and it's sauteed, it's delicious. If it's hard and chewy and it's just like tastes like really just stemmy, like just not good, that's how it is at most restaurants. So if you've had it before, I don't want to hear that you don't like it until you try this recipe. So make sure, golden rule, you boil the broccoli rabe before you saute it. Okay, how about a little entertainment while we're waiting for the broccoli rabe water to boil. Here we go. All right, water is boiling, so we're gonna put all this broccoli rabe inside the pot. And don't worry if it looks like it's not gonna fit, because it's gonna cook way down. Next, we're gonna soak our raisins. So I'm doing 2 kinds of raisins, regular raisins and also golden raisins. And there's no rhyme or reason to this other than the fact that I couldn't decide which ones. I love raisins. I love golden raisins, I love regular raisins. And I couldn't decide which ones I wanted to put in this recipe. And I have seen both used, so I'm just gonna use a little bit of both. But if you can't find the golden, you can certainly use regular, and vice versa. It doesn't matter. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna soak these, because right now, I love raisins. They're soft, but you want them to be really soft when you have them in the pasta. Not really chewy. So I'm gonna put 1 cup of raisins in the pasta. So I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of each color. Probably more than 1/2 cup for me. You can see I'm, again, not really a fan of measuring over here. Okay, so here's the golden. To me, these are like candy. Okay, and then 1/2 cup of the regular. Okay. And then what I have here is like a cup of boiling water. I'm gonna pour it over the top of the raisins. And honestly, they're all going in the same place, so I'm just gonna mix them together. And then pour the hot water right on top of the raisins, and this is they're gonna soak. They're gonna get soft. The next thing we're gonna do is put the pasta in the water and boil it. I'm using angel hair pasta for this recipe. Now, I love angel hair pasta, and that's why. This is not really a typical Sicilian thing you would see. Usually, I think I would see more like thin spaghetti, but I love angel hair. I just like that it's so small and fine, and I feel like it really gives you like a nice texture when you eat the pasta with this combination of things with it. But you really could use any kind of spaghetti or pasta that you wanted. This is just the one that I think is best, but I would definitely use a spaghetti and not like a smaller pasta for this dish if you don't have angel hair, or like a linguine, I guess, but probably spaghetti bucatini or angel hair would be best, but I like the angel hair. And we never ever break the pasta in half. That is a sin. I've told you I'm feeling extra Italian with my hat on today. So I have seen people do this before, just snap it and then put it in the water, and it's like, no. Pasta is meant to be twirled on your fork, on a plate. We never break it in half. I've watched my dad do this several times and I practically fell over. Like, no. Pasta goes in whole. And don't forget to salt the water. I always forget to salt the water. So let me remember to do that today. Should taste like the sea. Now, one thing you don't need to do is put oil in the water. This is like something that some of my students were asking me about at work, and I don't know where that came from, but we don't need to put oil in pasta water. Just stir it when you put the pasta in. It's not going to stick. I'm going to chop some garlic we're going to saute our broccoli rabe. So we're going to saute the broccoli rabe in garlic and oil. And so we need a lot of garlic. I'm gonna use almost, for a pound of pasta, almost like a whole head. I'm gonna use probably 6 to 8 cloves, depending on how big they are. I love garlic though. I would say oil and garlic is like running through my veins. So if you don't like garlic, then maybe don't use that much, but then maybe also like don't make this pasta. Also, the angel hair pasta that we have cooking, it cooks so fast because it's so small. So that does not need to cook long. Okay, the trick with garlic, if you can't get it to come off, is you just smash it. So you just take your knife and just, and then it comes right off. Okay, so I have 8 cloves of garlic here. I'm just gonna mince them up. I'm actually gonna do a little bit bigger than a mince. I'm gonna do like almost like a thin slice with the garlic. So I almost want like a very thin little slice to it. So I'm kind of slicing it like that. Again, little details. You can you could cut it up however you like. I just kind of like to see little chunks of garlic, so that's why I'm doing more of a slice than a mince. Okay, now for extra flavor, we're also going to, finding pasta on my leg, we're also going to saute the broccoli rabe before we put everything all together. So I'm going to chop this up because right now there's these big stems, so I'm just going to give it a rough chop and then put it in the pan with the garlic and oil. So I'm adding the garlic to the pan that we chopped up, and then a bunch of olive oil. I don't measure olive oil, just coat the bottom of the pan. So it should look like this. Then I'm going to heat that up. Get the garlic a little bit golden. And then once that garlic starts to soften up and turn a little bit golden, we'll add our broccoli rabe. So let's chop that up. It's just that these stems can be kind of chewy if you don't. So I like to give the broccoli rabe a nice little rough chop. I don't go too crazy, but I do like to cut these stems down. And you can see the stems have really softened as they cooked, or some of them have, but they're a lot softer than they were when we started. You can see the stems have really softened. Okay, so that's ready to add. All right, I've just sauteed the broccoli rabe with our garlic and oil for about 5 minutes. Okay, so I just found out that we have not been filming any of the last 20 minutes of the recipe. However, I do have pictures, but the film button was not on. So here is the final product, still delicious. And this is pasta, again, Palermitana, which is the angel hair pasta, the broccoli rabe, the pine nuts, the raisins, and it's really delicious. So I hope you'll try this recipe and enjoy. So buon appetito.